this whispered history of the United States Democratic Party. Let's take a quiet journey through time, exploring the origins, evolution, and key moments that have shaped one of the oldest political parties in the United States. Origins and early years. The Democratic Party traces its roots back to the early 19th century. It was founded by supporters of Thomas Jefferson, who envisioned a political organization that would advocate for agrarian interests and a limited federal government. Initially, it was known as the Democratic Republican Party, but by the 1820s, it had evolved into the modern Democratic Party. In 1828, Andrew Jackson, a war hero and populist, became the first Democratic president. Jackson's election marked the beginning of the Jacksonian democracy, which emphasized the power of the common man and sought to reduce the influence of elites in government. The party during this time was a coalition of farmers, frontier settlers, and slaveholders, reflecting the regional divisions of the era. The Civil War and Reconstruction. The Democratic Party's history is deeply intertwined with the sectional tensions that led to the Civil War. In the 1850s, the party became increasingly divided over the issue of slavery. Northern Democrats generally supported popular sovereignty, which allowed territories to decide the slavery issue for themselves, while Southern Democrats demanded the protection of slavery. This division weakened the party, contributing to the election of the Republican Abraham Lincoln in 1860 and the subsequent secession of Southern states. After the Civil War, the Democratic Party became the political voice of the South, opposing Reconstruction efforts and advocating for states' rights and segregation. The Progressive Era and New Deal. At the turn of the 20th century, the Democratic Party began to shift. Leaders like William Jennings Bryan brought a populist, reform-minded spirit to the party, advocating for issues like the free silver movement and labor rights. However, it wasn't until the Great Depression that the Democrats would transform into the party we recognize today. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected president, ushering in the New Deal, a series of government programs aimed at providing relief, recovery, and reform during the economic crisis. Roosevelt's policies expanded the role of the federal government in American life and solidified the Democratic Party as the champion of the working class, minorities, and those seeking social and economic reform. Civil rights and modern era, the Democratic Party underwent another significant transformation during the mid-20th century, particularly with its stance on civil rights. Under Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson, the party pushed through landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These laws were instrumental in dismantling segregation and ensuring voting rights for African Americans. However, this shift also led to a realignment of the party's base. Many Southern Democrats who opposed civil rights legislation began to leave the party, aligning themselves with the Republican Party. This period also saw the rise of the Democratic Party as the political home for urban voters, racial minorities, and social liberals. Recent decades. In recent decades, the Democratic Party has continued to evolve, grappling with issues like economic inequality, healthcare, climate change, and social justice. Figures like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden have shaped the party's modern identity, balancing progressive ideals with pragmatic approaches to governance. Today, the Democratic Party remains one of the two dominant political forces in the United States, advocating for a diverse array of policies aimed at promoting equality, justice, and opportunity for all Americans. Thank you for joining me in this whispered journey through the history of the Democratic Party. Each era reflects reflects the changing dynamics of American society, and the party's evolution tells a story of adaptation and transformation in response to the challenges and opportunities of each generation. If you like these videos,